Hey everybody, so I just wanted to give you a quick update. Once again, if you haven't done the survey, I'll include a link below. Please share it if you run a Facebook page, if you run a channel. If you could share it there on your personal wall, on your Twitter. If you have a channel, maybe make a video about it with you doing it, encourage your viewers to go through it. Just because I'm getting like a decent sample so far. So it'd be nice if we could get some more. I know well, I wouldn't say it's long, but it's like an actual survey. It's more than a couple questions. So let's just go through the results because people have been asking me about it. And I have 240 completed responses and 75 partial completes. So we're actually getting a decent sample right here. Obviously, it's going to be biased because I'm more involved in, I guess you could say, the traditionalist spheres rather than maybe some of the more fascist ones. But yeah, so sorry these graphs are shitty, but it is what it is. So what broad political category would you put yourself into? So we have a sizable plurality, say traditionalist. So that's interesting. The second largest is fascist and then broadly right wing. So I have a couple people who identify as conservative and national socialist, but by and large, people seem to mainly put traditionalist or fascist. So I don't know how you want to take that, but traditionalist being the majority doesn't really surprise me just because of my religious views. That tends to be the community I attract. Also, just kind of my friends in this movement tend to come from these circles. So yeah, so that's interesting. What are the other responses? Individualist, absolutist, demarchist, proprietarian, reactionary modernist. I'll probably code that as fascism. National futurism will probably code as fascism. Absolutist, I will code as probably traditionalist. So I'll go through and go through some of these. Very briefly, in one sentence, how would you describe your economic views? So yeah, so we'll go through. So I'll probably have I'll have to just go through here. There'll probably be a distributionism might be large enough to be its own category. State capitalism probably will be. Free market probably will be. So it's pretty strong with regards to this graph is terrible and it's kind of hard to explain, but people very strongly chose biology as being the largest single determinator of ethnic behavior. Sorry, of human behavior, which is not surprising. Civilization culture tends to be second, and socioeconomic class is very low. So if I'm reading this properly, the blue is people who put it as first choice, green is second choice, etc. So people mostly seem to go race, civilization, religion, then individual, and economics is not regarded as being particularly important. Which is about what I'd expect, but I think that's an interesting result. Like I said, we're actually getting enough. Because the issue is accuracy goes up with the more sample you get. Because if you only have, like, let's say I only had 3 people who filled this survey out, there would only be 3 responses. So there would be one third, and once you get up there, you start to get more. So let's take a look at government involvement in education. I'll be able to do an average on this eventually. So we seem to have a very good mix here. So we have a lot of people, so it seems like a majority of people put little involvement, less than 5. The rest mainly put a little. Very few people in these circles seem to think that they want really strong government involvement in education, which I was a bit surprised by. I thought it would be a bit higher, maybe kind of some of the fascistic people, and I'll be able to do some crosstabs once I get a bit more sample. Or I was expecting some of the fascistic people maybe to be a little more in favor of education, so that's interesting. Let's see, discrimination against white people. So pretty much everybody put above 1. Only one person, like 2 people put 1. We have a third put forced demographic displacement. And then, yeah, so more than 3/4, I think it's 80% put white people face heavy discrimination. So that's about what I was expecting. I didn't think it would be that strong, because you have half basically who put 9 or 10, and you have 2/3 who put 8, 9, 10. So that's pretty high. So what I'll probably code, just to give you a bit of a, what it'll probably be is it'll probably be like 1 to 4, 4 to 6, 7 and up, or something. Let's see, abortion. So abortion is overwhelmingly pro-life, which it's higher than I thought it would be in terms of what people were going to say. So I know, once again, some people will probably say that's not fair to put that, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you're either pro-life or you're not. And if you are like, I'm okay if black people have abortion on demand, but not if white people do, you probably should be your own category. So most people, and I was expecting this to win, is banned in most cases, just banning elective abortion, which is actually my opinion too, because I don't think this is necessarily practical. But this is an issue. I think this is kind of important, because this is a contentious issue, and what I'm seeing from my data is it's not a contentious issue. It's pretty overwhelmingly or very strongly pro-life. Like, that is 2/3. So let's see here. Homosexuality. So pretty much everybody doesn't want it to be legal. Only a fifth of people took like a normal view, and I don't know. You could say I have 3 anti-homosexual views. Actually, no, I don't. I have like 2 pro, 2 anti, 1 neutral, or 1 kind of neutral. So it's pretty strong. So basically, we have more than 3/4 of people don't want it to have an impact on society. So I think you can pretty much overwhelmingly say, even if people don't necessarily want them punished, they don't want it being shown to their children. So once again, that's something I was expecting a little more kind of mixture on. So let's see here, media. So once again, this is maybe a bit of a stretch, but Sargon brought it up, and I thought it was a legitimate question. So we have both public and private, so there's not really a particular standpoint. This is also to be a bit of a stand-in question for freedom of speech. So most people seem to kind of, I don't know, there's not really a decisive view here. Most people seem to kind of think media should mostly be free. I tend to be in one of these 2 categories. I don't really want a national news service, but I think if government wants to have something like TVO or PBS that does educational programming or documentaries or something, that's perfectly okay. So this one, I think, was very surprising. I was not expecting this to be that strongly. So overwhelming. Okay, so the overwhelming opinion at 50% is they want a specific or general state religion, but tolerance offered to at least some minority faiths. Once again, to just kind of reestablish that, what my thought process is, like how I would describe this, and some of this is just how people interpret it, is a specific faith would be like Italy, I think, would be a Catholic country if it had a state religion. I don't think that's arguable. But if it comes to America, you can't have a state denomination because it's too widely distributed. So like for America, you could just say Christianity or just Islam with some Muslim countries. So most people seem to like that. Let's see here. So yeah, most people seem to want at least some government involvement in religion. They don't want a purely secular state. Once again, that just tends to be the circles I move in, but yeah. So we have the role of women in society. I guess you could say maybe I'm a little biased when I was writing these, because maybe I made my opinion sound a little better. But yeah, so we have an interesting mix. So most people went with what I had, which is not too different from now, but basically just revoking most of feminism. So yeah, so I think that's not surprising. Some people took, I guess, kind of more patriarchal opinions than myself. I don't mean that negatively, just saying. Let's see here. Same as men, but heavily incentivized with government subsidies to look after children to the age of 10. Your life doesn't end when you're 40 with 2 or 3 kids in their 20s. Women should have voting and political power should remain unchanged. Okay, so once again, we have good responses here. People like took this seriously, which is really good. I was expecting people to just say like "fuck you" or something, but like these are like useful responses. Be encouraged, but government should not be involved. Okay, these are all very good responses. Thank you to everybody who took this. By the way, you did a really good job. It's really, I'm getting good quality data. What do I mean by good quality data? It's, like I said here, the fact that people gave real responses, I think shows that people were serious when they took it. Like, I'm not saying you have to take this as like you're reading the Bible or something, but I get better quality data. So people are overwhelmingly want a monocultural state. Although monoracial is actually a lot more than I thought it would be. I thought there would be more of a difference between these two, but it looks like the results are almost exactly the same. Because there are people in these circles who are more cultural nationalistic or more ethnically nationalistic. Like they're okay with a multicultural white society, or they want a more... So I'll see how these two run against each other. That'll be interesting. So... Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so people either want... Okay, so cultural-based immigration or just same race immigration. Okay, so those are pretty even, so that's interesting. Okay, that's cool. So with regards to the Jews, yeah, people tend to take a very, okay, strong position on them. Let's see what answers people gave. The creation of Israel was the biggest mistake we've made. Dichotomy between left-wing Jewish diaspora and right-wing Israelis. Option 3, with the exception of people like Ben Shapiro, overrepresented in the elite. An ethnicity of parasites. Okay, so once again, most of these are, I think, good responses because they're meaningful. Let's see here. It's overwhelmingly male. Once again, prefer not to say. I just, because some people I figured don't want to provide demographic data because they're afraid of getting doxxed or something, so I just included that. What is your age range? Okay, I added in under 18 because people asked me to add it in. So that was... Or you know what? Maybe I screwed this. I'm going to have to go back and look at this. I might have messed this up when I was coding it, which would be really bad. I think... Okay, I'm going to have to go back and look at that. What religion do you most identify with? Actually, atheism's a lot higher than I thought it would be. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, neo-paganism is like non-existent. That's pretty normal. Oh, let's see. Ethnic background is majority white. Almost entirely white. What's the other? Mixed. Northern European and Sicilian descent with trace Ashkenazi. That would just be white in my book. I don't know why that's just white. Okay, so I'm going to have to recode some of these. Aryan is just white. Okay, what white subgroup? Overwhelmingly Northwestern. That's interesting. There's not very many Southern or Eastern. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see, what is the others? Mixed. Those are totally artificial subgroups. German and Italian. WASP. Irish. Estonian. East Asian. I have a couple. Chinese. Southeast Asian. Don't really have anybody. What's this? One response. The Kang clan. Okay. Let's see, 3. Chaldean, Aryan. Okay, cool. Jewish subgroup, I actually have a couple who put Ashkenazi. Maybe I'll add in Castizo, just for the sake of it. What is your employment status? Okay, so most people seem to be in school. So anyways, that's good results so far. I'll keep it going, and please participate. And I'll talk to you guys later.